welcome you to the quarterfinal of Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. From Tegucigalpa, the National Stadium playing host to Motagua, attempting to reach a fourth final in the competition. Today they welcome Tauro of Panama. Mike Watt's happy to have you along. The doors are closed here, but the conditions overhead should hold up in terms of thunder and lightning. There is, however, a significant chance of rain and a notable amount of wind here at the outset. The temperatures are 73 on a balmy day here in Honduras. To remind you how both these teams got to the quarterfinal stage, look at matchup number 9 in the quarterfinals at the top of your screen. Tauro dispatches a preliminary qualifier Sporting San Miguelito in an all-Panamanian matchup, while Motagua dispatched a very talented Cibao side of the Dominican Republic. The winner of this matchup could in fact lead to a Honduran Clasico in the final semifinal of CONCACAF League. Olympia and Diriangen meet later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 hours after the beginning of this game. The tunnel is underneath midfield here and rather behind the goal, and the teams are making their way out and into the light under heavy cloud cover. There will be no cover for Tauro tonight. They may be in good form domestically and internationally. They haven't lost in their last 6 matches, but they've made clear after reaching the semifinal against Motagua in 2018, they thirst for another run at Champions League. You see their manager, Francisco Perlo, emerging from the tunnel there a moment ago. And the Venezuelan 35-year-old has been quite clear. Our goal is to reach a semifinal again and to reach Champions League come the beginning of the year. He is an extraordinarily talented manager who's just only taken over this program in the last 3 weeks. There would be no greater crowning achievement for him at this early stage of his tenure than to lead these bullfighters into CONCACAF Champions League and an international semifinal. While for Hernan Medina and FC Motagua, everything is in front of them, and yet all anyone's doing is looking behind them at the heartbreak of 3 finals with no trophies in CONCACAF League. There has been no better team defensively in the history of the competition. No team has won more games, and yet they are forever the bridesmaid, never the bride. They have never quite been able to get over the hump, and they're hoping in a unbeaten run within the domestic league combined with a good start in CONCACAF League, this could be their year, perhaps to not only win a double, but perhaps be invincible, and they're flying off their performance against Olympia in the league last time out. The lights are on here, and surely there are fans watching from all throughout Honduras and Panama. These are 2 countries that seem to find themselves paired together in CONCACAF League often. The Panamanian teams have actually gotten the better of the Honduran teams, believe it or not. 4 wins to 3 losses in a trio of draws. But even with that in mind, neither side was willing to concede favoritism, and the Honduran giant Motagua has to begin at home and conclude on the road. It's a bit of a topsy-turvy first leg, and a fixture that will conclude with a second leg next week in Panama City. The announcement that will beckon the players onto the field. 2 nations, neither appear held back in CONCACAF League historically, and yet it's a 7-nation army that rings over the loudspeakers here ahead of this quarterfinal opening leg in Scotiabank CONCACAF League. It is Tauro and Motagua taking the field. A hugely intriguing matchup in the quarterfinal, with a chance to reach Champions League and an international semifinal on the other side of 180 minutes. They'll make their way onto the field. You'll hear the CONCACAF League anthem continue, and then we'll meet the lineups and kick this one off. It's the quarterfinal opening leg in CONCACAF League between Panamanian giant Tauro and Honduran giant Motagua. Loads of lineup news to consider as the 22 who will start on the field embrace one another briefly ahead of what's set to be a very contentious 180 minutes. The first 90 of which comes here in Tegucigalpa. Then next week we'll turn our attention to Panama City. Motagua and Tauro meeting in the quarterfinals of Scotiabank Concacaf League. After the FIFA anthem serenades the sides, we meet the lineup put together by Hernan Medina. And Wesley Dacos and Fabrizio Brenner are unavailable for this game, not in the 18. Oscar Garcia drops to the bench. They do welcome back two notable names in Mauro Ortiz and Hector Castellanos. Daniel Maldonado came off the bench in the finale against Cibao. He re-enters the starting 11 here tonight. The referee hails from Costa Rica. Juan Gabriel Calderon has worked a number of high-profile games around the region and is certainly not deterred from the moment. Pereira and Boteo meeting with the officiating crew, the two captains. And with wide grins, we take a look at the lineup for Tauro under Francisco Perlo, who only just took over the club. Boteo captains the side. Negrete and Rodriguez move to the bench along with Ernesto Sinclair. Jonathan Garcia is unavailable for the match due to injury. They bring in Luis Esprilla to midfield, Medina as well. Omar Valencia enters the 18 and into the 11 as well. And Giancarlos Vargas, the defender, will step in place of Negrete in the back. A look down the Motagua bench, and it is a hugely unfamiliar sight to viewers of CONCACAF on a regular basis not to see Diego Vasquez, who piloted an 8.5-year run of 5 trophies domestically for Motagua. Tauro in the midst of a coaching change of their own. Perlo only taking over mid-August after a brief 4-month stint in Venezuela, his native country. There is history between these two teams. And for one of the pair, this tournament will be history for them should they fail to advance. Welcome to the quarterfinal and the opening leg in Scotiabank Concacaf League between Motagua of Honduras and Tauro of Panama. Spinning free on El Tejada. Motagua 9 unbeaten, 7 consecutive wins. They've lost 1 of their last 20 matches, all competitions. And here in their home venue, the National Stadium, 10 unbeaten dating back to April. Tauro has a massive job in front of them tonight. It's Raul Santos committing the foul. And the ball may have done as much damage as the player. Ronaldo Cordoba back to his feet, rolled right onto it. It's Jorge Gutierrez over the ball. Look at Hernan Medina. He's been coaching since 2019, has lived a somewhat charmed life. 44, 6 and 16 as a manager. Lopez overeager. There's Francisco Perlo. Managed Kai in Panama for 3 years, including in CONCACAF League. Started coaching as a 23-year-old, now a dozen years later. He's come a long way from the Caracas Academy teams he once piloted. Chara. Gotten by Nunez. Caroms off the head of Vargas. Gutierrez. It's a simple clearance. Boteo tried to take it out of the air. Appeal for a handball, continues through Godinho. And now leading Medina. Melendez carries that to the line. Francisco Perlo in the lead-up said that this is one of the two great clubs of Honduras, described the desire to keep the key open. Certainly it's an unwilling handball, but you could quite easily see Juan Gabriel Calderon contemplating that if he had another look. Nunez. Maintains. Nunez drives it across. Spins out toward Valencia. Quarterfinals arrive in short order following the conclusion here. The first leg, just 7 days to contemplate, play a weekend fixture, and approach again. Motagua hasn't had to deal with all that many second legs on the road, which makes today all the more fascinating. It is hugely possible that both legs of the semifinal will occur in this venue, since it's the home to both Olimpia and Motagua, but a lot of work to be done by the two sides to assure that feat. Rolled ahead. And away from Lopez. Corner Motagua 5 minutes in. Lopez arrives from Real España. Santos. Maldonado. Rugier. Rugier, 5th Concacaf League appearance. Won the Golden Gloves in 2019. No goalkeeper has made more saves or kept more clean sheets. Sometimes those don't go hand in hand. Rugier's been fantastic. Averages just shy of 4 saves a game. Bring Motagua to 3 finals. It's the 34-year-old Argentine. Melendez. Santos. Maintained through the challenge of Valencia. Santos.
usted cierre solo.
Santos. Dangerous enough to force a corner. Lopez the target once more. And another quick set piece. It's banged off frame. It's the initial ball from Santos toward Lopez. Here's Eric Hughes a moment ago. Has competed on the club stage in CONCACAF for 3 different clubs. Earlier this year made his debut for Panama in goal at the age of 36. Friendly against Uruguay. A long and winding road of well over 300 starts. The goalkeeper to finally reach that dream moment. Herrera, Santos. Finally, a bright moment for Boteo and Tauro in the 10th minute. Lost a touch by Maldonado. Good hold-up play and pushed forward to Tejeda. Bring it back. Lopez had no advantage there. Falls for Santos out of the air. Boteo. Scoop back up. Angel Tejeda. Nunez. Just heard may have been the only people without a credential with the right to watch this game live in the venue. A plane. Such is the nature. Lopez. Put back in play here by Tauro. 3 matches behind closed doors for Motagua. Sanctions levied back in December. This is good from Valencia. Valencia's surely thought he's won a corner. He did not. So Motagua, should they advance, closing out this 3-match sanction, security incidents that occurred during the CONCACAF League final first leg against Comunicaciones. Ball driven away from Rodriguez and whipped from a long way out. That's up and over from Hector Castellanos. Well, that could have gotten the fans excited. They've been allowed in the doors tonight. Had that far corner picked out. So for Motagua, the first game of that suspension was the Champions League opening round against Seattle Sounders. The second is the match against Cibao. Now this, which leaves open the possibility that it will be a packed house 2 weeks running should Olympia and Motagua advance in this portion of the bracket. It's another foul and another free kick for Tauro. A reminder of what's on the line. The top 6 of this tournament move on to Champions League. It's the final edition of CONCACAF League in its current iteration. The 4 semi-finalists and the best records among those teams that fail to reach the semi-final comprise the 6. So even a win here today as this gets whipped forward simply to Rougier. He's quickly sent a 70-yard ball the other way. A win here tonight, even if you don't advance, could be the difference between Champions League or not in the upcoming spring. With that, the financial implications, the player signings. Make no mistake, at the end of next week, there's going to be a very busy conversation between sporting directors and coaches and a lot of agents around the region. Foul this time came from Godinho. Santos. Motagua through 15 minutes have largely run the proceedings. Haven't created very much from it. Gutierrez. Part of the Tauro side that the Champions League knocked off FC Dallas from MLS. Spell of really good performances from Panamanian sides, international stage. Predating, but certainly since. Santos accepts a corner for all that work. Header snap central. Cleared as far as Nunez. Santos. End line, Ortiz. Out of real estate. Motagua scintillating 65% of the ball. And they find just a little more aggression on the end of it. Closest to target thus far was the man who just had the ball, Castellanos, out to Ortiz. Maybe a bit too much aggression. There were more options there than Castellanos initially anticipated. Watch all the empty space at the top of the penalty area once Castellanos gets that. If he lays that back to the penalty spot, seeking Lopez. He's been the front runner in this game to this point. Way by Gustavo Chara. Good ball, Maldonado. Another set piece here for Motagua. Motagua's committed a number of fouls near the halfway line, but nothing really dangerous for Tauro. Stronger set piece chances have come for the Eagles. Ortiz is going to join. Ortiz. Big collision. Chara came out for it. That's something to watch moving forward. Nunez. Now maybe Tauro can run for the first time. Valencia. Flicked out by Rugier. Marlon Lincona has been the primary goalkeeper within the league to this point. He's played 6 of the 8 games. Rugier maintains the role within Concacaf League for the moment. Santos. Melendez. Brought down with a plum and smashed at target. Away from frame by Tejeda. Medina skims back. Contemplative moment for Boteo. Medina. Maldonado. Boteo. what a run. Gutierrez circles the wagons and chips it simply to Rougier.
What a looping run that was from Guti.
All sent away, and the injured player is Angel Tejeda. Big-time goal scorer, the 31-year-old. Brief stint in Costa Rica, Perez Zeledon, but notable for his time at Real España and Vida. And now with Motagua. He's walking forward. And there's the restart. Tauro trying to make the most of it. Slicing inward, Valencia. Roll back, Pereira. Bit of malaise. Tauro pounces. Gutierrez brought it down, swung wide by Gudinho. Spria.
Solo. Dale, que moverse. Cuidado, que te va a salir. Ven acá, Valencia, atrás.
Tail. First yellow card of the match arrives. That's Cordoba. Feels like it's been a more physical match than 7 fouls in 26 minutes might enlighten you to believe. Back from Lopez, Nunez. Trying to circumnavigate Tauro pressing these touches in the half space. Very compact and yet still a fairly mobile Tauro defense. That's steered away from frame by Lopez. Free kick now to Motagua. They've taken it quickly. Tauro slouches back into position that's narrowly behind Ortiz.
Hay nadie en el área. Mauro, arranca de más atrás. Métete, Medina, métete.
Throw here from Gutierrez. Hangs in the air. Pereira got the first touch away on it. Settled by Godinho. Boteo. That's Yeoman's work. It's a combination of Nunez and Ortiz. Obvious foul. Somewhat unnecessary. 4 Tauro players nearby. Chara. Cordoba unsettled, circling around Melendez. Pereira under it. And now Motagua breaks. Driven ball ahead here, and again, Chara defensively siphons off with his head. Medina leading the charge. And the ball rolled through and the offside flag up, and rightfully so. Santos. Lopez. He's going to find Santos. He wanted it, and he's chipped it free around Gutierrez. Going to be overtaken by Vargas. Taking free Nunez. Motagua just has not been able to figure out Tauro in that final line of the low block. There's not a lot of teams in this tournament that feel like they're scorching offensively. Motagua is that team. They're first in Honduras in scoring. It's just over 2 goals a game. 18 through 8 games. Backed another 3 against Cebao over the 2 legs. Nunez. Seemingly, this has been a tournament dominated to this point by sides that are impressing on the defensive end domestically. Both these teams can argue that point. Shifterly, Ortiz, Nunez, bypassing Ortiz, Santos. There's more support arriving. Godinho, that's gonna bounce out there. Camargo. Seeking Godinho, also had Medina rushing on. Even the scoreboard's turned off. Well won by Boteo. Hangs in the air and over Vargas, handled by Hughes. Delicately ahead from Santos, muscling his way through, and a back heel from Lopez to maintain. Santos. Neither side's taking inordinate risk in this first leg. Tauro knows they can always go home. Motagua knows that they can always get a road goal and overcome whatever deficit may come from a 0-0 draw, having to play away to Panama City in the second leg. It's been tentative. Header away, Melendez.
¡Sáquelo! ¡Sáquelo!
The deflection, that was awkward for Hughes off the foot of Nunez. Quite awkward. Nothing there from Gutierrez.
Ojo, Diego. Tota. Ojo, si se quedó, si va, miralo. Atento, Tota. Ojo los dos que vienen. Cuídalo, cuídalo, Budiño. Guti. Ojo, Guti.
Ball across. It's cleaned away further from Nunez. On the sprint out, Tauro is going to hold on. Pushed away once more. Down by Camargo.
Síguelo, Reni. Ya no. Vamos para atrás. Valencia.
Santos pushing into Valencia.
Pasa contra la línea, Tranquilo, Guti. Profe, ¿dónde va a jugar? Hacia atrás. Tauro.
Well, maybe a moment here for Tauro short of the halftime whistle. Cleared away. Pereira. Santos. Santos.
Pasa uno. ¿Quién no pega ahí los dos?
One added minute to the first half. Maldonado.
Balón. Siguiente.
There's halftime. Nothing ventured, nothing gained through 45 minutes between these teams. Best chance perhaps came from Castellanos from 20 yards. Neither goalkeeper really tested in the opening half. And with the knowledge that there's still 135 minutes to go, both teams seem content to go to the halftime break scoreless and with everything to play for here in Tegucigalpa. The teams will come together at midfield and then make their way downstairs into the dressing rooms. Halftime in Tegucigalpa in the quarterfinal. this quarterfinal matchup between Panamanian side Tauro and Honduran side FC Motagua. Tauro in their 4th CONCACAF League appearance. It's the 5th for Motagua. Both sides on lengthy unbeaten runs. 6 all competitions for Tauro, 9 for Motagua. Mentioned at the outset, they certainly do have history. The 2018 semifinal matched these two sides. Francisco Perlo wasn't the coach back then, but he did say that, you know, there is a feeling that football always gives the opportunity for revenge. Tauro won the matchup in Panama in the first leg, 2-1. They don't have Edwin Aguilar available today. However, he's the one who scored twice against Motagua in that leg, including a penalty. Montes scored for Motagua in that first leg to pick up what at the time was a pretty crucial road goal, and then Motagua a 2-0 win on their home field here in Tegucigalpa to win it 3-2 on aggregate. Tauro can't play revisionist history, but they can write new history here tonight. A group that is very much forged with Panamanian national team ties, some enticing new players that have come into the mix since that time, but also certainly some players that were part of Magic in 2018 in CONCACAF League and CONCACAF Champions League. For Motagua, after their win against Cibao and unbeaten 8-game run to start the domestic campaign in Honduras, there's a feeling that while Diego Vasquez's loss was significant, maybe Hernan Medina is the right man at the right time to take over this group. 2022 Clausura champions, and they've come in like a ball of fire to this tournament. They've only conceded 14 goals rather in their 22 games under Medina. And this is a hugely experienced and now largely healthy group, which makes them perhaps the most terrifying team to face. The sun is setting over the near side of the venue, and with somewhat ominous clouds overhead, it is still a shimmering scene here at the National Stadium in Tegucigalpa. They're playing in the early window in this triple header day in the quarterfinals with no fans in attendance. Should they reach the semifinal, a good chance they could see Olympia. And if they do so, that Clasico would certainly be sold out. Fans would be back. But Dirianen of Nicaragua has very different ideas after knocking out Comunicaciones in the last round. Scoreless at the intermission, Motagua and Tauro on to the second half. That's going to roll by Hughes. Two real moments that made Hughes perspire, sweat a bit. Line drive that never quite dipped from Hector Castellanos from about 20 yards. And a bouncing ball from Nunez took a deflection, skipped awkwardly off the turf, and nearly jumped over his shoulder. Otherwise, unimpeded opening 45 minutes for the goalkeeper. Both sides are unchanged at the intermission. Can they get Castellanos on the ball in more dangerous positions? Ball forward, tapped by Valencia. And here comes Motagua. It's interesting to find out for this Tauro side, you see they're unchanged at the break. Vargas, Chara largely handled everything that came into the penalty area. They've shown the willingness to go about 5-6 times in the first 45 minutes after a goal. But if it's not on, they've been content to maintain the 0-0 scoreline, which would send them back home with a chance to simply win, and you're into the semifinal in Champions League. That's not such a bad proposition. But should they concede a goal, you'd have to think, while they are on the road, there's no vocal fan base against them. There'd typically be tens of thousands here. Maybe you go after the road goal that could give you a little bit of very valid insurance before you head back to Panama City next week. Rodriguez goes down. And the collared Espria makes his way back toward the net mouth, where suddenly there's work to be done here for Eric Hughes. Tapped ahead, Cordoba. And there he goes, Cordoba. Gudiño. Into the penalty area. Not a bad intrusion. Touched aside Gudiño. And pirouetting into space. Got Camargo up there and joining into the attack, Mateo to his left. Cordoba leading the line. He's been on an island most of the afternoon here. Espria. And an injury for Tauro amongst their back line. That's the ever-adventurous Gustavo Chara. Came up through Deportivo Cali in Colombia, and now in his second stint for Tauro, which included that 2018 Champions League run past Dallas. He's saying he got a shot to the temple. Well, Chara's come a long way from that celebrated and highly influential Colombian club, Deportivo Cali. He was on the bench a little bit in Copa Sudamericana with the group. Never did feature in international competition down in CONMEBOL. Saving himself for CONCACAF League. Cordoba. Calm under pressure. Melendez debuted for the national team at the age of 22 back in November. World Cup qualifier against Panama. Thrust across, and Hughes in control. Rodriguez. Motagua is starting to contemplate some changes. Try and redefine the narrative a little bit here. Chase a goal on their home ground. You know, you have to think it's devastating for Motagua. 3 times to the final, eliminated by Comunicaciones in the last 2 tournaments, including, of course, the final last year in CONCACAF League. They thought they'd get their chance at a little bit of revenge, perhaps. Didn't play out that way, as they were drawn into the same side of the bracket, only to see Dirian knock them out. Rainbow to the backside. That header got over the line. Corner. But for Motagua, they've talked about this neither being pressure nor a challenge. Acknowledgement that you can't redefine the past. It is what it is. Well, a lot of the players remain. The manager doesn't, as well as he did with that job over such an extended period of time. Mauro Ortiz comes off. That's Walter Martinez who enters. Perhaps he can be a little more menacing up front. And then Diego Rodriguez exits. He's become a real part of the Honduran national team of late. Gold Cup, Nations League, World Cup qualifying. This ball brought down and blasted by Medina. Carams to Nunez. Nunez. Strung out by Gutierrez. Gutierrez was part of the Panamanian side that featured in World Cup qualifying against Honduras. You really can't get very far in Central America without finding some link or opposition between a Panamanian team or player and a Honduran team or player. Within CONCACAF League, it's been one of the most common of the 2 countries to meet one another, although Honduras and Costa Rica lead the way in that factor, as one would anticipate given the 2 countries' extraordinary success in CONCACAF League. Those 2 countries, and Guatemala with Comunicaciones' victory managed to attain this trophy. Trophy that'll be given out just one more time before Champions League in the region expands. The Central American Cup, then the Caribbean Cup regain their pseudo-independence. That's chipped on a hope and a prayer. At times it felt like we saw a lot of familiar names, and something to be said for that in CONCACAF League. There are still the big clubs in the region, but it felt like every year we've had the surprise culminating in the coronation of Comunicaciones at the end of 2021. The runs of Olympia and Motagua and Forge and Tauro. Some really special CONCACAF League occasions. Certainly benefited the growing game in the region. But times change. Cranked forward by Martinez. Good bit of control to maintain. Melendez.
Cerca, que la controla mal. Dale, 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 cerca, dale, dale. Arriba, arriba,
Upcoming Champions League maintains this current qualification format. 16 teams. All 4 from Mexico are already qualified. Atlas, Tigres, León, and Pachuca. The first from the U.S. just during their qualification. Orlando City ousted the second division side Sacramento Republic last night. Canadian side Vancouver is qualified through the Voyageurs Cup. Their second chance after a semifinal run with Alphonso Davies within the group back in 2017. Get into the current iteration of Champions League, and then Violette from Haiti won the CONCACAF Caribbean Club Championship. There's going to be a massive influx of teams in that mix real soon. This is chipped right at the goalkeeper, Hughes, by Martinez, who's come in and livened the game. At the end of next week, we'll go from knowing 7 teams in Champions League to knowing 13 of the 16, pending the final 3 from the U.S. And in 2024, things are going to get vastly, vastly different, with a 27-team tournament, preliminary round, and a round of 16 to follow in 2024. With the Central American Cup champions making their way through. Playing games, Caribbean Cup, hour into this one. Scoreless still. Melendez. Chested through, out of the reach of Nunez. It's Martinez. Now the throw from Maldonado. Castellanos. Martinez right to Hughes. A throw for Gutierrez. On the heels of the COVID pandemic, he was sent to the Spanish 3rd division. 23-year-old that started appearing with the senior national team over the course of the last 8 months. Medina. Asprilla. Rubinho. With a false step, Carlos Mejia nearly took it. Was wagged off the scent. Curling in for Camargo. Cleared here by Maldonado. Camargo's had some really bright international moments. He scored in Copa America against Chile. Back in 2016, he scored against the U.S. in a 1-1 draw at the 2017 Gold Cup. At a time where Panama was contemplated as one of the teams that could compete for the crown. Well, in the end, it ended up being the U.S. and Jamaica reached that Gold Cup final in 2017. The year Jamaica shocked Mexico in Pasadena. Kamar Lawrence free kick. Memo Ochoa surely slack-jawed. Martinez. Martinez header right at Hughes. And finally, a taste of adrenaline. Ivan Lopez diving in. Little room here in the pocket. Lopez twisting. Turvey pass outside. Curled toward frame. Recollected Nunez. Castellanos shrugged off by the referee inadvertently. Nunez. First clearance, Castellanos trying to get under it. That's a clever move by Camargo to bring it down. Snapped outside Maldonado. Can he get up the line? He seeded it too easily. He overran it. It's Medina. And outside now, Asprilla. 21 years old. He got his first taste of international play in Concacaf League in 2020. Did feature against Peru earlier this year for Panama. Asprilla has become a fairly regular starter within this Tauro side. Covered aptly by Tauro. Nunez put under pressure and rolled ahead by Valencia into an offside. Ronaldo Cordoba. Off to the bench, and here's a player that everyone in Panama seems to be talking about right now. Victor Medina comes off. And Alberto Peralta comes on, 20 years old, a Tauro Academy product. Asked about his progression, this being his first international tournament, Francisco Perlo, who only took over the club over the past month, said, look, he's still a boy. It's little by little, but surrounded by good players and a very talented group, which he's trying to break in. Good ball over the top. Could this be the moment for Motagua? It's wide from Angel Tejeda. Chara's barking for offside. I think the ref had this read right. That's an extremely difficult view of that play. It's not quite online. Nevertheless, here's a change, and Eddie Hernandez comes in. Going to replace Lopez, who created a really good chance less than 5 minutes ago. But it's he for whom the bell tolls. So Hernandez comes in. This is the second sub window. Mejia and Martinez came in previous. And Hernandez, regardless of what you may know about his time at Olympia or Motagua or beyond, leave it at this: he scores goals. Peralta, 25 goals over the last 2 years for Hernandez with Olympia. And what a wild path he's traveled all over the globe. Sweden, China, Colombia, Kazakhstan, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. After an early stint at Platense, all that sandwiched around a 4-year run at Motagua. Well, here he is in a scoreless game, trying to be the difference maker, 9 and blue. Perhaps we're seeing things open up a bit. Motagua, more the possession and 5 times as many shots as Tauro. Hughes only one truly notable save to this point.
¡Arriba!
Bouncing ball central. Hernandez may have sent that to Panama City.
No, aquí estoy yo, no pasa nada. Juegue, Ari, juegue. Dale. Dale. Dani. Seguís ahí. Venga. Mira. ¡Sí, Zapa! ¡Solo! ¡Que va! ¡Toca la bola! ¡Sigue, Choco, síguelo!
Castellanos. That skips free. Second deflected effort toward goal that Hughes has been able to quell.
Agárrala. Mira, está el hueco.
Sent away by Gudinho. Cordoba. A little trailing support. Offside flag raised against Peralta. Peralta, he's gone a long way back, and he's paid a price for not being able to corral that effectively enough.
Marca, que no arranque. Atrás yo suelto. Mira con la brisa. Mira con la brisa. Mira con la brisa. Si voy te mete a dar. Mira con la brisa. Mira.
Service here. Hughes got upended. At least he argued he did. Punched away. Martinez. Castellanos. Martinez. We'll say this about the Motagua substitutes. They've all had an impact in some capacity. Here's Mejia. Run Nunez. Quaffs free. Nunez back post. Tejeda arguing, but he kept that in and knocked it off of Hughes. That's a really clever little turn there. Valencia comes off. That's Diaz entering for Tauro. For Camargo. Rodriguez enters. Through, that's grabbed by Rougier, and with an ever flippant toss forward. Maldonado. Melendez.
Sale un Vargas. Fila.
Ball rolled ahead. Was seeking Tejeda, and Mejia making himself useful inside the penalty area. Hughes and Tauro defend the throw. Curling back toward the end line, service across toward Tejeda again, and taken out of the air and blasted by Nunez into orbit. Santos. Mejia. Hernandez. Good pump of the brakes by Gutierrez. And in behind. Offside. Ball blasted by Mejia at Hughes, who's up to the task. Approaching the penalty area toward Hernandez. Hernandez trying to bring it down. Hernandez unimpeded. Ball dropped back and lifted away by Martinez. And the referee's gesturing. He's pointed to the spot. And amidst all the chaos, the Motagua player remains down, having been fouled in the penalty area. And now Motagua finally have their chance at a breakthrough. Penalties were key between these teams in the 2018 semifinal. Both converted one. And now the door opens for Motagua. The tug at the jersey, the extension of the fabric on Hernandez, that kick up catching Santos. Tejeda being grabbed by Esprilla. No matter which way you cut it, a penalty to come for Tejeda. Hughes has not saved the penalty according to Transfer Market. 0 for 8 in his career. Angel Tejeda stepping up, has scored both that he's taken. He beat Andre Blake in a World Cup qualifier back in March. And with Vida, he scored against Jose Pineda of Platense last September. It's all the record they have on El Tejeda. Hughes clapping. He hopes that ball will eventually sting his palms as well. Can he come up with a massive stop for Tauro on the road? Tejeda! Tejeda! Stings it off the crossbar and out. Floated up, Hughes lifts it over. What was louder, Hughes clapping, or how that ball clapped off the crossbar? Both will haunt the nightmares of Angel Tejeda tonight. Martinez, Hughes, fouled. And is that the enlightening moment of this quarterfinal bout? A chance for Motagua lead going to Panama City. There's the amalgamation of contact that eventually led to the penalty. And could Tejeda hit that crossbar any cleaner than that? Ricochets away. Stunner. These sides have met 4 times historically, but it's never ended in a draw. We're inching in that direction. Met in the 2018 semifinal, aforementioned throughout the broadcast, but they did meet in the Concacaf Interclubs Cup. The Tauro win in 2001. And in 2002, Motagua repaid the favor. Scooped away by Martinez. Wins the throw. Motagua needs to stop talking about what just happened and start defending, because that ball is in behind. Rodriguez trying to ask questions. Gudiño, circulate. For Tauro, a road goal going back home gives them a lot more breathing room in the second leg. But a scoreless draw on the road in Tegucigalpa is something they certainly would have signed up for. Ball launched, curling toward Rugier, who drives away. A reminder that in some ways a draw is the worst case scenario. Maintained here by Pereira. It is an especially awful result for Tauro. Should they fail to qualify by loss or by draw, they couldn't finish above 6 points if they draw here tonight. From the round of 16 onward, that decides, should you fail to advance, who moves on to Champions League with the 2 remaining berths beyond the semifinalists. At least for Motagua, they won both of their round of 16 games. If they draw today, the lowest they could finish is 7 points. And as many years as it isn't, that's enough to qualify for Champions League among the 6 slots that are allocated to CONCACAF League. But it wouldn't assure anything. If you're Motagua, you get a win today, seemingly impossible on 9 points, that you could get left out of Champions League. And can you believe that from Tejeda? Devastation. So in theory, a draw helps Motagua more. Not only do they stave off a potential road goal, that 7th point that carries some real value. Whistle blows. It's too much from Diaz. This is Christopher Melendez replacing Castellanos. This is the final sub window for Motagua. That's it for them on the night. Cordoba coming off on a yellow card. This is the final sub window, and on comes Edelson Carrasquilla. So the 22 you see, barring a potential head injury, the 22 we're going to finish with. Motagua's been clearly the side with the impetus to advance now. Going the other way as we approach stoppage time. Fourth official throws up 4 added minutes. That's a late challenge. Peralta's been booked. Second card issued in the game. Cordoba and Peralta. Perhaps an effort to extract a pound of flesh here. Santos. Santos maintains. Mejia. Nobody there trailing. Recovered ably by Nunez. Well, that's Carlos Mejia. With 3 more minutes. Glide that past Boteo. Throw Motagua. Say Diaz still arguing the other way. That's a fruitless cause. Martinez. Support down the wing, turned away, and now Tauro is turned the other way. Traveling, Nunez commit the foul on Rodriguez. Can you imagine if Tauro could steal it here? They've pinged it forward. Diaz. He was in behind. Sent away Rogier. Good recovery by Rodriguez. Santos. Final 80 seconds here in Tegucigalpa. It's a very realistic chance. Tauro should they leave with a draw here, would need to qualify by the semifinal. That window might be closing if they finish on 5 points. That's a foul, that's a free kick, that's a yellow card to Chara. And this is a magnificent opportunity for Motagua now. Oh, Mejia paid the price. He twisted out of that tackle. Chara is fearless. Carlo asking some question. More often than not, 5 points is not enough. We'll know by the end of the night whether it's got any potential to bring Tauro through, or if they're going to need to go back home and get a positive result, give themselves a chance. But Motagua trying to steal this at the death. First clearance is away. Maldonado is going to let that out over the line, corner, and it may well be the last action of the game. No fans to will Motagua on. Could it come down to the last touch of the day? That is the last touch of the day, and it's a draw. A sturdy performance by Tauro earns them a point. One that may prove academic in the final standings, but they have gone away to Motagua, extended their unbeaten run all competitions to 7, and they go back home with everything to play for. Well, for Motagua, their unbeaten run is now 10, 11 all competitions on their home ground. But they're going to need to get a result at what's sure to be a raucous Panama City next Thursday night. Until then, for our entire team at home and abroad, this is Mike Watts saying so long for now as it finishes in the first leg of this Concacaf League quarterfinal first leg. Motagua 0, Tauro 0.